welcome guys. So I'm here with Ross Millard, Director of Sport of Ardingly College. I won't steal your thunder, Ross. If you could give us a quick catch up. Obviously you used to work here at Cumberland, but some of our parents and Year 8 pupils may have joined after you left. If you can give us an intro of yourself.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to catch up, even if it's over a video call. So quick background into what I've done, how I've got to this point. I was a professional footballer many years ago now, it feels like. I was lucky enough to be at Manchester United. Unfortunately, I got an injury when I was 19 years old. But again, I wanted to stay in the professional game, so I was lucky to stay at the football club and do football coaching, get my badges, which was great. I was there at a time when United were successful, which was nice, not so much now. And then I moved, back in 2004, I moved down to Sussex to just a complete change from Manchester, and obviously joined Cumberland House, which is, fantastic for me in terms of my growth. All my life, my focus was just on football, and this is what I was going to do. But, things changed and I had to adapt, and it's probably for the best thing, really. I think this is the most amazing pathway I've been on, and I'm loving doing what I do in terms of working with students in sport. So I spent 12 years at Cumberland, initially doing PE and then becoming Director of Sport. And then I moved across to Ardingly, back in 2016. And this is my 4th year here now. So it's great that I've kind of worked in the prep school environment, and also still working in the prep school environment at Ardingly, but also working across the senior school too.
Great, thanks. The idea of this is just to sort of give some information to our Year 8 pupils. So some of them will be coming to Ardingly, some going to other senior schools. What specifically at Ardingly, what's the Year 9 or first year, what's their sports program like for your typical student?
Yeah, I think the big thing, and this will be the same for all the other schools, if you are coming out of a prep school environment, it's a little bit, it's very different when you take that big step into a senior school. The school seems so much bigger, there's many more pupils, and it can be quite intimidating. So I think for us as coaches, as staff, we're aware of this. So the support we give them initially across the academic and across the sport, where we kind of slowly bed them in. I think if you're at the elite end of sport and maybe you're going into a school or coming to Ireland on a sports scholarship, then we expect certain things. We expect you first and foremost to make sure you come back fit. So for the boys, it would be football, the first term. For the girls, it would be hockey. So we would expect those students over the summer periods, making sure that they're staying fit and healthy. So when they come into the school, they hit the ground running, especially in the first term, because the level of students would have gone up another notch. I think that's important. There's more students in the school. There's students come from, if you've got boarding, there's students come from overseas. We get kids from Hong Kong who come in on sports scholarships. So if you're at that elite end, then you need to come in hitting the ground running. If you're not so much and you just love the sport and you love the participation, just come in with an open mind as well. And I think what's important is don't kind of set yourself on if you're playing in teams, let's say, I want to be in this team, the A team, the B team. Just come in, enjoy yourself, see what level you're at, and then you never know. You may push yourself up to the A team or the B team. You may be someone slightly different in a prep school environment, but you may grow as a person. You may grow physically, and you may add even more value in a senior school environment as well.
For those elite guys, said in the sports scholarship program and looking at their fitness, what extra inputs do they get in addition to their normal timetable games and PE lessons?
Yeah, so they will, from a physical point of view, they will get strength and conditioning. So we've got a fantastic S&C centre on campus, and they will get specific strength and conditioning with our strength and conditioning coach once a week. So that will be timetabled within their lessons. They will have an hour with the S&C coach. He will look at how they move physically. He will look at their power, but not so much initially. We need to make sure that they're safe technically in terms of their lifting and stuff like that. So normally in the first year they won't be loaded. They just work on their movement patterns and things like that. So that's kind of what happens from a physical aspect. That strength and conditioning coach will also work with them at pitch side as well. So they will get a pitch side session once a week. That's usually your A teams, where they work on movement patterns and things like that. From a supportive point of view, they will have mentors. So they will have a sports mentor as well. So they have a tutor academically and pastorally, but from a sporting aspect, we will also give them a mentor who will work with them and just check in with them, see how they're getting on, setting them goals throughout the term.
That mentor, sorry to interrupt you, is that mentor, is that another pupil? Is that a peer mentor, or is that
that is a staff member, usually connected to their main sport. So let's say, we do have sports scholars who come in who work across all the sports, but at some point they will go on a chosen path of a particular sport. So it's usually someone connected to that. Now they may do that mentor meetings in small groups, because the staff member might have 4 or 5 similar. So they may do group meetings like that, or they may do individual meetings as well. The scholars will also get access to outside speakers. So over the years, we've had some fantastic speakers come in, from Olympians to sports psychologists, sports therapists. So we're not only giving them an opportunity to listen to professional athletes, but also with the opportunity to speak to people within sport. I think that's important. Some of the guys come in and they want to be professional sports athletes, but we know that there's very few of them. So if we can give them access to being in that environment and going on that pathway, then that's also fantastic for them. But they also get lots of good information from these outside speakers just about life in general. I think that's a big thing in our program, is preparing them to be better people. The All Blacks thing and all of that, I'm really big on that. And their character and the culture of the school. So I think that we try and instill that in those meetings as well.
And then those guys who are sports scholars, more participation focused group, if they have other interests, so you say your main sport early on is football for the boys.
Yeah.
If they're not so keen on football, are there other avenues for them to explore?
Yeah, so we over the years as well, we've done this more and more, and we're kind of well aware now that back in the old school days, it would be you come to a senior school, or come to a prep school, and you just do the major sport in a term, and that's it. I think all senior schools are moving away from that and moved away from that now. So you have the option of the major sport for the term, but also for someone coming into year 9, they will also be able to do sailing, rowing, badminton, cross country. Next year, I'm introducing dance into the games program as well. So there's options of that. Tennis they can do as well. So there's about 6 or 7 options for year 9 and year 10. And then when you go up into 5th form, there becomes another 10 or 12 options, from things down to yoga, jazzercise, basketball. What else? We do all sorts of crazy stuff. So there becomes lots more options. But going into year 9, you're not just coming in and doing the major sport. There is options of other individual sports or other team sports as well.
With climate that we're in, socially distancing and e-learning, we're sitting waiting on a government information this weekend to see how potentially we can return to school or not. If our guys aren't able to get back into school, so they're still socially distancing at home, what types of things should they be doing through this term into the summer holidays to best prepare for life at Ardingly or their senior school? From a physical point of view, what types of elements of fitness would you encourage them to focus on?
Yeah, I think I saw a really good tweet the other day, and I'm going to say this. I have my wife in the background, and she will say, "Oh, you don't do that." But the really good tweet is about a little bit about consistency, really. Consistency in what you do each day. So I can't remember what the chap called it, but it was some sort of tracker. And he just wrote down, he's a professional footballer actually, and he wrote down, these are the 7 things I'm gonna do every day. So I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna drink 2 liters of water. I'm gonna listen to a podcast. I'm gonna go on a 5K run. And he just ticked it off. And he might not complete everything every day, but he's decided these are my goals for the day. This is my tracker, my habit tracker, I think he called it. And I thought that was a really good thing of kind of how you structure your day. And I think that is key for the students and for everyone, parents, you know, all the staff listening to this, is just having some consistency. There's no doubt that getting outside in the fresh air, doing any sort of exercise, whether it's walking, jogging, cycling, whatever it might be, is so important for your well-being. So definitely, you know, get some consistency in your day. How long this is going to last, we don't know. You know, if you want to push yourself and get yourself as fit as possible, I definitely think there's opportunities. You know, I'm already doing a little bit more exercise than I've probably done previously. So, you know, I think you have to see these things as opportunities as well. You know, it's different. It's a different thing we're into, but where is the opportunity in this to, you know, to do something positive for yourself?
Yeah, certainly. I know, similar to yourself, a bit more of a fitness regime since being on lockdown. It's good just to get out of the house, isn't it? Give yourself 30 minutes or so. Those 30-minute runs have now become 60-minute runs. You talked about, you know, the All Blacks, better people make better players. What's the school's ethos, or, you know, the sports department's ethos on, you know, the characteristics? What types of things are you looking for in your pupils and, you know, captains, sports leaders?
Yeah, interesting one. I can remember when I read the All Black book, Legacy, and I was obsessed with it, and I read it just at the time I got the job at Ardingly, and I thought, right, that is the culture I want at Ardingly College. And I can remember speaking to a friend of ours, Hayden Westerby, who's obviously a Kiwi, and he said, but that's the All Blacks culture. That's not Ardingly College culture. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. He said, what is your culture? You know, so a lot of those things from All Blacks I take on board, but I think every school is different. But the key thing for me with students coming to the school, it is that being a better person. I really think that's important in how they handle themselves as Ardingly students, especially on things like match days. Those sorts of things, you know, are they presentable? Do they turn up on time? What are they like in the dining room? Home matches, away matches. Those things, more than anything to do with sport, are so important to us as a school, because they're representing the school, they're representing what we stand for in our sport. So, you know, even when the sport's going well or it's not going well, they've always got that consistency of just making sure they go out and they represent the school in the right way. That's a massive thing for me in terms of how they act and how they are as people. And it's something we talk about a lot with the elite kids at the school, about staying humble. You know, some of them have gone on journeys where they've won, you know, titles and stuff like that. But in and around the school, make sure you're staying humble. It doesn't make you any different to the person over there who just loves playing the sport, whatever it might be. And how they act around the college as well is really important.
Yeah, it's not so much it's those little things that require effort or a bit of a mindset.
Yeah, and from a coaching perspective as well, I think, you know, what we look for in everyone, but it's also the elite athletes as well, is they come into Shell, they come into year 9 with the excitement of being a sports scholar, and, you know, what they, you know, you give them all the information, this is what you're going to get. Can they continue that into upper 6? Do they have the same passion, the same drive that they have in when they come into year 9? And that's quite difficult. And not many students kind of are able to continue that on. So that's a big thing for me. You know, are they coachable? Are they willing to develop themselves individually as people, as players in whatever sport it might be? And that's a big thing, because some of them will come in with that passion and that drive into year 9, but then it kind of dwindles off a little bit. And we're looking for characters who are going to go through the whole process and come into it at this stage is, the player, the individual, but can they actually come at the end of it a better person, a better player? I think that's a big thing for our program and what we're doing to support them and what they're doing to give back to the school.
Just to give you, I mean, the school sounds amazing. We've obviously got a good relationship with you guys. Just to give yourself 60 odd seconds, just to really sell your department. What are your strengths as a whole? I know you've got some fantastic coaches. Your facilities are fantastic. What's the things that make Ardingly different to all the other schools in the area or nationally?
Well, we're not a huge school in terms of size, in terms of numbers. We like to think we compete on the county and national circuit. I think the big thing for me, and this takes time, is actually what we're trying to do with our teams, with our individuals in terms of developing them. If we get those things right in how we coach, then I always say kind of the important bit for the kids, I suppose, is the winning takes care of itself. So trying to put a coaching syllabus into our school program that happens down in the babies with the reception all the way up to upper 6. So a big goal for me always with our A teams is actually how many kids can we actually bring through the prep school into our first teams at whatever sport it be. That's the sign of a really good sports program, that we're seeing development right the way through. The winning is obviously good for the school, good for marketing and things like that, but it's actually what can we actually do for the kids themselves, and wanting them to leave Ardingly with a passion for sports and go on and continue on that journey, whether it's university, whether it's elite level, whether it's just playing sport for fun, doing exercise for fun. I think that's really important.
Thanks, Ross. So a lot of our guys might want to get in contact with your department. What's the best way for them to reach out and get in contact with you?
Sure, yeah. Listen, I'm not as busy as I have been in the past, so just email me. If you more than welcome to pass on my email, and if I can help them in any way or pass it on to the head of netball, the head of football, the head of hockey, then I will do that. Yeah, but more than happy to take any questions from parents and from students as well.
Ross, huge thanks for your time today. Really appreciate taking your time away from your fitness and your habits.
Habit tracker.
Habit tracker. Again, talking about Hayden Westerby, former colleague, certainly still friend. He's sent me across something. I'll forward it on to you.
Oh, great.
Might be useful.
Oh,
Ross,
brilliant.
thanks for your time.
No worries, Craig. You take care.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.